All right, check it out. All the shutters were painted. They're ready to be reinstalled. Grand total, there's 16 shutters, and they're not all the same. There's 4 shutters per window because there's a top half and a bottom half of each window, right? So even though these all look the same, they do not, the hinge will not line up, with the window frame. There are differences. So what I do to keep track, like there's a good example. You can see this guy is just a little bit taller than the other one there. And that's because one of those is bottom, for the bottom half of the window, that would go here, and then the top half of the window that would go up here. So to keep these straight, what I do is before I spray them, while I'm taking them apart, taking the hinges off, I'll mark them in pairs, 3 and 3, and I've got a little arrow that points, to the other one. And same way up here, I do it on both sides just in case, a piece of tape falls off and the number gets sprayed over. Although that's marker, so it'll probably bleed through anyway, but the hinge covers that, so you'll never see it. And I'll peel that off. Okay, surprise, another 3. So I know these two go together, and what I like to do, I'll kind of set them up where they're kind of leaning on each other without falling. Now, here's the tricky part, and if you don't look out for this, you're going to run into issues. These hinges, there's 2 types. You got the big hinges. This bolts the shutter to the frame, and you've got these little hinges that bolt each shutter together to its mate. Now, the thing about these hinges, if you're not watching out for it, they do have a top and a bottom, and it's marked. You can see right there, top. It's been painted over, or the old paint stuck to it, but that's top. And the reason that is because these pins will fall out. They're not, they don't have the weight of a full-size door, so these things will fall out pretty easily. And if you put them in upside down and you go to hang the shutter and it hangs up like this, well, now the pin's on the bottom and you can already see it wants to fall out. So when you go to reinstall hinges, no matter what, always look for the top and bottom, because there is a difference. And so what I do is figure out if this is a top window or a bottom window, and I'll try to show you real quick with that. But all right, on each of these windows, somewhere is going to be a spot for the magnet or the metal plate. So, and even if you look at that, you got 2 indentations. And so if you're trying to figure out, how it goes, this would be the wrong way, because the hole, you can see, lines up, but the indentations will not. So, you got to flip it up, and it goes right back where it was installed, same spot. So we'll take that, put our little zinc screw back in there, and then tighten that down. Now, all right, so this tells me if this is a top window or a bottom window, and if it's if it's going to be on the left or the right, because this is what's going to screw you up. If you go to put these on and you don't put the hinges on right, say, okay, you got all the tops of your hinges facing down here, and then all of a sudden, like I said, you go to hang this and you realize, wow, this actually goes the other way. So, and what you have to do, and it's a pain, you got to take the hinges all back off, flip them, put them back on. So I know from looking at this, this is a bottom shutter, so it will stand up like so. All right, and so the shutter will close, catch the magnetic latch that's on the window frame. So I know this is a bottom window. There's no mistake in that. So having said that, I know the tops of my hinges, let's see, right there, top. I don't know. So I know my tops of my hinges have to be facing this way. So this is the top. So that will have to go to there. And then bring this guy over. And since the arrows are pointing to each other, I know these are exactly where they were when I uninstalled them. So I keep mate to mate. I guess in theory, you know, as long as they're the right side of shutter, you can mix and match, but believe me, that's a pain in the ass. So I'd rather just, like I said, mark each one as a whole and make sure you got the arrows pointing, and make sure your hinges, you know, are top up, and make sure this is going to, like I said, stand up a certain way. So when this is all done, the hinge will be hung, or the shutter will be hung just like so. So anyway, just something to watch out for, especially installing these little hinges. The pins do fall out quite easily, and if you get it wrong, somebody's going to open this shutter up one of these days. The pin's going to fall out, the shutter's going to, you know, fall off from its mate and probably split the wood on its way down, because it's just not going to hold if that pin falls out. It's just, and then you ruin the shutter, or you're going to have some serious repair. So anyway, that's what I would do. I'll see you next time.